Hi, Mark Alderman from Alderman Chevrolet Buick GMC, Vermont's favorite car dealership. You know we're famous for two things: awesome deals and fabulous service. We're also famous for being a great place to buy a pre-owned car or truck. And today's video topic is what makes Alderman Chevrolet Buick GMC different from our competition as far as being a place for you to go buy a pre-owned car or truck. The first thing that makes us different is our acquisition process. Where do these vehicles come from? We have a very clear and defined order of priority in how we source our pre-owned vehicles. Now, our first best source is off-lease vehicles, followed by trade-ins, followed by our We Buy program, where we buy all makes and models from customers that we don't require them to buy a car from us. And then we also buy GM company cars. Next up is other dealership trade-ins, auctions, and daily rentals. Now, the reason for this priority is this. Off-lease vehicles, we know that people take better care of a lease vehicle than a non-lease vehicle. In fact, one of the number one reasons why somebody might not lease a vehicle is because they're concerned about that inspection at the end of the lease. So the fact that that vehicle is going to be inspected at the end of the lease tells us that customers take better care of those vehicles. And then a trade-in, oftentimes these are vehicles that we sold brand new and serviced with us, but we're able to know more about that car because we're able to meet the person that previously owned that vehicle. So you get a really good sense for what's the difference between the good ones and bad ones. That doesn't mean that 100% of trade-ins are good cars. It just tells us that we're able to have better information to figure out the difference between the good ones and the bad ones. Next is the We Buy all makes and models program. And again, that's where we're able to meet directly with the person that previously owned that vehicle, and that gives us that added insight. Now, GM company cars, these are good cars, and many of these were driven by GM executives, but they're not trading the car because they're concerned about there being something wrong with it. It's just that they had it for a company car, they drove it, they're held responsible for taking care of that car, and then they usually have that car for a certain period of time. Also, they're not paying for the servicing, so that's generally, the service is done quite well on it. So those make very good cars. Next up is other dealership trade-ins. Now, they're not as desirable as the We Buy program or the trade-ins because we're not able to meet with that previous owner. But it's better than an auction in the sense that you don't have all the added fees and expenses of transporting to the auction, paying the auction, transporting it back. And so we're able to acquire the car at a more reasonable price point. Next up is auctions, and we do buy some vehicles from auctions, but it's when we don't have enough of the other vehicles from these other sources. And so we have to be very careful and very choosy which vehicles we buy from the auction. And then we have to do some extra work here at the dealership to make sure that we got a good one. And finally, daily rental vehicles. They can offer some good value, but again, you have to be very choosy and very particular. So we follow this level of priority. So the vast majority of cars that we sell come from these top four categories, represent well over 80% of all the pre-owned vehicles that we sell. Next up that makes us different is our inspection and reconditioning process. So we've got three different levels of inspection. It starts off with our least expensive vehicles, most affordable vehicles, simply pass Vermont State Inspection. So that's not our standard, it's the Vermont State Inspection standard, but we make sure that at a minimum, everything that we offer for sale passes the Vermont State Inspection. Then when we get up a level, we've got our A-OK check, which is very similar to a certified check. It covers 90% of what a certified check does. And there may be some cosmetic things that disqualify it from being a certified vehicle, or it may not be a GM vehicle, but that's a check that we do to confirm that it's one of the best pre-owned vehicles out there available for sale. And then of course the certified check is 172 manufacturer mandated check that we do. Now here's what makes Alderman Chevrolet Buick GMC truly unique, is that we offer a video summary of the technician's initial findings on their first check of the vehicle before we did anything. All we did was check it out, and the technician does a video summary of their findings on that vehicle. So you get to see it in exactly the way that we acquired the vehicle. That's an absolute unique. I don't know of another single dealer in the entire USA doing that on that vehicle. So we think that that offers you a lot of extra value with that. And keep this in mind, upwards of 70% of all the vehicles that are offered for sale online, pre-owned vehicles, never checked over by a technician whatsoever. So the fact that you're able to get a video summary confirming that check and the findings of that check are a real value. And then the third thing that makes us different is our live market pricing. For over 3 years, we've been one price with our pre-owned vehicles, and it's been tremendously well received by our customers. So they have a lot of confidence in buying a vehicle from us. It's not only it's our one best price, but we back it up. We'll show you what the other cars in the market are doing. So we've got a neat tool that allows us to see every vehicle that's listed online, and you can see how our vehicle compares to those other vehicles. Our general overall philosophy here at Alderman Chevrolet Buick GMC is to find you the best possible pre-owned vehicles and then sell them for an average to below average price. We believe that that difference where you get a way above average vehicle and you only pay an average to below average price, that's where the true value in buying a pre-owned vehicle comes from. So if your objective is to pay the absolute cheapest price for a particular make or model, we might not be your dealership. But if you want to get an above average car, one of the very best, and pay a very reasonable price, average or below, we're your dealership. Now, the other thing that makes us truly unique is that we've got a 90-day pricing plan on each and every one of our pre-owned vehicles that's already filled out before we've offered the vehicle for sale. So that vehicle throughout its life cycle is going to have anywhere from 12 to 17 different discounts throughout its life cycle. And so while we're one price and we offer our very best price, if the vehicle doesn't sell, after a number of days, it's going to drop in price. And then after another more days, it's going to drop again. And if it stays here with us for 90 full days, it will average between 12 and 15 price adjustments, and we share those with our customers. So if you want to pay less money for that particular vehicle and you're willing to take the risk of somebody else buying it, we'll share with you when those price changes are going to occur and what they are. Again, I don't believe there's another dealership in the entire United States that's doing that right now. And you get that here in little old Rutland, Vermont at Alderman Chevrolet Buick GMC. And then finally, we've got our Alderman Fast Pass. You know, if Steve Jobs was going to invent a way to buy a car, it would be Alderman Fast Pass. It's about a 5-step process. You can do as much of the process at home or at work, on your iPhone, wherever you might be, or as little. So, and then we pick up that process where you left off. So when you're online and you find a car that you're interested in, with very minimal amount of information, you can go in and you can figure out whether or not that car will fit your budget or not. And you could do it in a matter of minutes. It's super easy. And if you start the process and you want to come into the dealership to finalize it or pick up where you left off, we do that as well. So it's one of the easiest dealerships in the entire country to do business with. So these are all the things that make Alderman Chevrolet Buick GMC a truly unique and special place to buy a pre-owned automobile. If you'd like to learn more, go to aldermancars.com or click the Learn More button below, or on YouTube, we've got a convenient link right attached. So we look forward to hearing from you about your next pre-owned vehicle at Alderman Chevrolet Buick GMC, Route 7 South in Rutland.